Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cardman's Cards. I am the Cardman, and as you can see, hopefully you can see in front of you, that I got myself some of the Cyber Strike Structure Deck. Granted, I already opened 2 of them, so you're not getting all 3 of them open today, but I'm going to open this last one here I saved for this particular video. I opened the other 2 just to get the deck and stuff kind of ready to go, so I gotta just get the cards I need out of this one to make the budget variation of the 3 put together. Actually, before I open that one, I will show you the playmat that it comes with, because I think the artwork is lovely. So let's see if I can get this open on camera. But it's just a cool ass picture of Cyber Dark Dragon the End, or Cyber Dark the End. I don't know. Whatever his name is. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to show you. Alright, now that we got the cool stuff out of the road, let's move on to actually going over the structure deck. This is of course, the new support for, I guess you would call it Cyber Dark / Cyber Style, because it does play off both functionalities, because you do have a card that searches Power Bond now, and you also have cards that basically make the new boss monster really powerful, because it's a really good effect. But yeah, we're going to go into it. I already opened it, just didn't go into it. Like, I already ripped the pack open. So, sorry. Alright, let's open it up. There's a stack of cards. Not going to worry about the playmat, because, well, we already know what that looks like. Close that back up. Put that over there. Put that. And let's open up this. I want to feel old, but I am a little old. I'm roughly a couple. I'm an age, let's put it that way. But this reminds me of cigarette cartons, which is a weird coincidence, and like not in the similar sense. It's just a plastic reminds me of cigarette cartons. I'm probably the only one that does, but yeah. Here is the I guess beginner's guide. How you want to look at it for this. It has one side of Dawn Majesty and then one side of the Cyber Strike structure deck. I always just call it Cyber Dark, because basically is, because that's the main monster. Alright, I'm gonna kind of move the shiny cards to the back, or sorry, I should say the fusions to the back, because I want to go over those together. Okay, and then give me a second to break down this into its parts. So I'm gonna go over individual parts of the deck, like monsters, spells, and traps individually, other than together, because kind of would require that. Okay, so let's start with the monsters and just go over them, because there is a good number of monsters that are, well, if you know Cyber Dragon or Cyber Dark, you know what they are. This is a new one, of course. This is Attachment Cyber, which, when you can target one dragon or machine cyber monster you control, equip this card from your hand to it, and when this card is equipped, the monster gains 600 attack, and when this card is sent to the graveyard, equipped to a monster, you can target one other dragon or machine cyber monster, and your graveyard special summon it. You can use each effect Attachment Cyber once per turn. So it's a good card to get your stuff back from the grave. So, like, say someone makes you use your Cyber Darkness negate with Cyber End, you can send this to get your Cyber End back. But yeah, there's that. We have Cyber Dragon, which everyone knows and everyone knows. Has a whole deck around it. It's called Cyber Dragon for a reason. If your opponent controls monsters and you don't, special summon it. Simple as that. We have Cyber Dragon's Veil here. It's an okay card. It becomes Cyber Dragon on the field. Once per turn, you can reveal one spell in your hand, and this card becomes not Cyber Dragon until the end phase. And then if you do, you answer your attack during the end until the end of the damage step. It's okay. It's not really used. And we have Dry here, which is it's better than Veer. Zwell. This card becomes named Cyber Dragon on the field or in the grate. When this card is normal summon, make all Cyber Dragon you currently control become level 5. Special summon monsters this turn except machine monsters. You can banish this card, target one Cyber Dragon you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn. It's a good protection card. Like, oh, I use this to make Nova Infinity, but there's easier ways to do that with Galaxy Soldier. You have Veer, which is just a good overall just summon. Like, oh, I summoned a Cyber Dragon. Go, boom, Veer. And then everything gains, I think it's 600? No, 500 attack and defense. All Cyber Dragons. Nasher is bloody amazing. Granted, you don't only run 1 to 2 of it because it's really good. It's a good effect, but it's too many at 3. Basically, this card allows you to summon your bosses back from the grave, but basically, because its effect, you can discard 1 card. I think it's just discard a card, right? Sorry, discard a monster card, to be more specific. From the hand, especially summon this card from the hand, and then on its summon, normal or special, of course, you can target a machine monster, I do believe. Yeah, 1 machine monster in the grave with a 21 attack or defense. So you could do Cyber Dark Chimera, which is 21 defense, or Cyber Dragon, which is 21 attack, or you can do Cyber Dragon, Nova, he's 21 attack, like anything like that. You can bring back Seeger, the Link monster, Cyber Dragon Seeger, with this effect. It brings back a lot of good cards. I understand why it's a 1 of, but if you really wanted to, you could bump him up to a 2 of in certain builds. So good card. Glad it got reprinted. Granted, it was pretty cheap to begin with. I got one of the main cards that everyone knows, Cyber Dragon Core. Just when he's summoned, you get a Cyber Spell or Trap, and then you control no monsters. You can banish this card to summon a Cyber Dragon monster from the deck. Granted, you can only get 1 effect per turn, so limiting in that sense, but it makes it balance. Cyber Pharaohs. I legit don't know what this card does. Summon this card from your hand, attributing 1 machine monster once per turn during the main phase. You can fusion summon 1 machine monster from the extra deck using monsters from their hand or field as material. When a fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 power bond. It's okay. It tries to be a power bond searcher, but you have to use it as material. It's okay. It's not great. Cyber Valley. I remember this card. You can activate one of the effects. When this card is targeted for attack, you can banish this card, draw 1 card, and then the battle phase. So it's like card. Or, sorry, Swift Scarecrow, I should be more specific. Then the second effect is, you can target this, take out 1 face-up monster you control, and then in this card, banish both of them and draw 2 cards, which is good. You can target 1 card in your graveyard, banish both this card and 1 card from your hand, and place it up and then target on the grave. So it basically recycles, gives you hand. It's okay. Cyber Phoenix, no idea what this does. When this card is in attack position, again, any spell and trap effects, target 1 machine monster you control, and other cards, it's protection. Okay, it's just protection. And then we get to the Cyber Dark monsters, which are some of the better cards in the deck. Granted, you only run 1 of each. Cyber Dark Horn, when this card is almost summoned, target level 3 or lower, dragon, monster in the grave, equip it, and then it gain attack equal to the monster, original attack. Equip it by it. When its defense position is, when this card destroys a monster by defense position, you do piercing, which is nice. You have Edge, which all the Cyber Dark monsters have that except for Cannon and Claw, and are the main Cyber Dark monsters, all the machine ones, I should say. Had that effect when they're normal summon, target level 3 dragon, equip it, and you gain attack. But this one, when this card attacks, this card can attack directly. If it does, use the effect of it's halved, and then you would attack directly. And you have Keel here, which this card destroys opponent monster by battle, inflict 300 points to your opponent, so it has a little bit of burn damage. And yeah, they all have that effect where they basically become union monsters, where the card attached to them is destroyed before they're destroyed by battle. Then you have the other 2 Cyber Dark cards, the 2 dragons, which is Cannon, which you can just discard this card from your hand to add a Cyber Dark monster. Really helpful. Claw, the better one of the 2, because it just searches one of your Cyber Spell and Traps, which searches you Cyber Dark Realm, or Cybernetic Horizon, or anything like Cyber Dark Evasion. Anything, really. Li Ling, this basically just puts your cards in the grave, really, or gives you more attacks. I don't know, let me read this what this does, and we'll go to figure out that. This return, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, equip this card to it, or unequip this card. Monster gains attack equal to it becomes 1,000, so it basically gains an attack. You can make a second attack during each battle phase. Equip monster, we destroy it. It just gives more attacks. It's nothing super duper, but it's a good effect. I get why it's played. Then yeah, of course you have Jizakiru. Everyone knows what he does. And you have Gizmek Orochi, which Well, it's Gizmek Orochi. Banish 8, summon it from the hand. You get a good body on board, and then second effect, granted you can only activate one per turn, is you banish 3 cards and then blow something up. Geldoga, pay 3,000, send 1 monster in the extra deck, just get your stuff engraved. And then you have Hertz here. Hertz is one of your combo cards. You only play one of it just because you normally send it with Cybernetic Horizon to search your Cyber Dragon, or Cyber Dragon card, depending on what you search for. Also, second effect, if it's special summon from the grave, or special summon in general, becomes level 5, but you only get 1 effect per turn, so you can choose which one you want. And the good masterpiece card, Cyber Dark Chimera. This card is lovely because it has 2 really good effects. One is that you can discard a spell, any spell. It doesn't have to be, I think it's just spell. Sorry, spell or trap, my bad. And add Power Bond. It just legit straight up just searches Power Bond, which is lovely. It's like, oh, I already activated Cyber Emergency this turn. Discard the other copy I have, boom, Power Bond. And its second effect is if you use it, sorry, that's the continuation of that. If you do, you can use your graveyard as material as well. So it really helps. It basically makes Power Bond act like Power Bond, but also Overload Fusion. Which you don't know what Overload does, but it allows you to banish cards from your grave to fusion summon a dark monster. But it doesn't really do that because it's just machine monster. And its second effect is when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one other Cyber Dark monster from the deck to the grave. So it lets you put more Cyber Darks in the grave for the big fusion summon that you will do later on. Let's move over to the spells because this is taking longer than I expected, so I'm not really super rushed, but you have Cyber Eternity here. Quick play, just target one of your machine Cyber Fusion monsters in the grave, return it to the extra deck, special summon it, or special summon it. Basically, just give your monster back, repair plant, give you a Cyber Dragon in grave, search your card, or bounce it back. Cyber Emergency searches your Cyber Dragons, or monsters that can't be normal summon set. Cyber Load Fusion shuffles your banished cards back in the deck, acting like a fusion card. It's really good in Cyber Dragon because like they banish themselves frequently enough to where like, oh, Cyber Load, let's put stuff back. Dark Impact just shuffles your pieces back into the deck. Shuffles your main 3 Cyber Dark monsters, your Drag, your Edge, Keel, and Horn from anywhere on the field, basically. Cyber Dark Inferno gives protections to your Cyber Dark monsters, in addition to giving you an additional normal summon, which is good. Future Fusion. I don't know what this card does. During your first standby, after this effect is activated, show 1 fusion monster from the extra deck and send the fusion materials listed on it to your main deck to the graveyard. During your second standby phase of this card's activation, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from the extra deck using the same name. It just helps get fusions out. Fusion tag, reveal 1, target 1 becomes that card name. Machine dupe, target monster with target machine monster that has 500 attack or less. And special summon 2 copies with it. Element removal, doubles machine monster's attack. Cyber Dark Realm. This card is bananas. Basically, on activation, you search a Cyber Dark monster you don't have in the grave. So, say you used your horn. Say like you used Claw. You use Claw to search Realm. Use Realm to search Cannon. Use Cannon to search Chimera. And you basically have full combo. Basically, if you see Claw, you have full combo, basically. It's a really good effect. Granted, you can only use it once per turn. And the second effect, which is awesome, especially with this deck, you get an additional normal summon of a Cyber Dark monster. Which, granted, it's not going to help every turn, but the turns it does help, it's really lovely. And my personal favorite art of the new cards, personally, other than Cyber Dark and itself, is Cybernetic Horizon, which is always treated as a Cyber Dark card. So technically, you can search it out with many cards. You can search it with Claw and Core and all that. But yeah, this card sends 2 machine or dragon monsters, one from hand and one from deck, which lets you get your plays going. Granted, it locks you into machine cards for the rest of the turn, which is fine, really. But in addition to when it resolves, you can send 1 fusion monster. Sorry, send 1 machine fusion monster from your action deck to the grave. And also adds, I think, a Cyber card. Yeah, 1 Cyber monster from the deck to the hand. So it allows you to basically search your cards that you need, sending cards to put in the grave. So like, send your Hertz and one of your Chimeras to set up grave for later on. And then adding your Claw in addition to it. So basically, this is your 1 card combo to really get everything going. Fusion Deployment, I really don't know what this card does, but we'll figure it out. Reveal one fusion monster in the extra deck, special summon from your hand or deck one of those fusion monsters whose fusion materials whose names will specifically live on the card. You can also summon monsters for the rest of the turn except fusion monsters. The turn you activate this card, you can only activate one fusion. So it just gives you fusion cards. Basically just gives you fusion materials, which is fine. It's a good effect, not really needed for the deck, but it helps. Alright, let's move on to the traps real quick. I'll save that for last because it's the better trap. Ooh, I missed these. I don't know how I missed these spells. Overload Fusion. I talked about it earlier. You fusion summon one Dark Machine Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials on the field into the graveyard instead of just sending them to the grave. Power Bond. Well, if you're watching this, you know what Power Bond does. I would at least I hope. Fusion summon one Machine Fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from your hand or field and fusion material, and if you do, attack gains. Gains attack equal to original attack. During the end phase of the turn you activate this effect, you take damage to original attack increased. So, say your monster has 2k, you boost it by 2k, you take 2k at the end of the turn. That's the gist. Alright, let's start with an easy and a goodie. We have Called of the Haunted. It's called. Target one card in your grave, special summon it. Attach this card. When the card leaves the field, it leaves the field. Cybernetic Revolution. Target one Cyber Dragon, special summon one fusion monster from the extra and list Cyber Dragon monster as material. Cannot attack directly, but is destroyed during the end phase. The next turn, you can activate Cybernetic Revolution. It gives you monsters, basically, if you need Cyber End on the board and also in the grave. There you go. Power Wall. During damage calculation, when you would take battle damage from your opponent, send one card from the top of the deck. For every 500 damage, round up, you would take instead. Paleozoic Canadia. This is a really good card and a really good reprint in the deck. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. And then once per chain, when a trap card is activated, you can special summon this card as a level 2 Aqua Water monster with 12 and 0. Cybernetic Overflow. Not really good in the deck itself, but it's mainly good for Cyber Dragon. Because you can banish Cyber Dragon monsters with different levels from the hand, face up in the field or graveyard, and then destroy an equal number of cards to that amount. And then the big boy, the card that, well, I guarantee everyone who's watching this was like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Infinite Impermanence. Basically, if you know Effect Veiler, you know what this card does. This card's basically Veiler on steroids. Because it's a negate. It's a negate. It negates your opponent's card effect. But in addition to that if you control no cards, it's just from the hand. It's just a literal hand trap. But also, if you set this card and you use it while it's set, that entire column of cards, all spell and trap cards in that column get negated. It's just, so say I have it in my third column. Everything in that third column after I activate this, while it's set, just negates. So basically, if your opponent gets one less spell and trap card zone for that turn. It's amazing. It's really good. It's really good. Let's move on to the fusions. I will talk about these three last because they kind of all go together. First, we'll talk about Chimera Tech Overdragon. It's not the greatest of the Cyber Dragon fusions, but it's good. Just Cyber Dragon, one other machine monster. Also fusion summon. Send all other monsters you control to the graveyard. The original attack of this card becomes if each number of material used up to fusion summon times 800. So it gains 800 attack for each material you use. In addition, it gains attacks equal to the number of materials you use for its fusion summon. So it attacks multiple times. If you're going against a spam deck that just swarms board, good option. Not really needed, but good. Then you have the OG Cyber Dark Dragon here, which requires Horn, Edge, and Keel. And this card is special summon. Target one dragon monster in your graveyard. Equip this card to it. It gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it. By this effect, it gains 100 attack for each monster equipped. Each monster in the grave, this card would be destroyed by battle. Destroy that equipped monster instead. It's just a good card. Alright, let's talk about these. Cyber End is kind of basically very... Sorry, my throat's dry. Simplistic. It's a big 4K beater using 3 Cyber Dragons. This card attacks defensive monster, you do piercing, so it's the OG original Cyber Dragon end card. Cyber Darkness Dragon. It's basically a retrain or an upgrade of Cyber Dark Dragon. Just takes 5 Cyber Dark monsters, which is not that hard now with Chimera. But you want to use this card as special summon, you equip one dragon or machine monster from the grave to it, and it gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster. And the quick effect, you can, I think it's his tribute, right? Yeah, send one equipped card, so equip card to this, to the grave, and if you do, negate the activation and destroy that card. So it's a negate. It's a good effect. If you use this, you use Power Bond to get this out. It's a 8K negate, which is hilarious. And the reason I saved Cyberdark End for last is just because he's awesome and he looks amazing. You use Cyber Darkness Dragon in tandem with Cyber End to go into this. Because basically you're equipping your Cyber End Dragon with Cyber Darkness. Sorry, you're equipping Cyber End to your Cyber Darkness to tribute for his effect to special summon him from the extra deck. And I will read him to you because he's bananas. Must be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing one level 10 or lower Cyber Dark fusion monster equipped with Cyber End Dragon. She counts because he's level 10. And then he's re-equipped, yeah. Unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, which means he's unaffected by everything. Basically, your opponent activates effect, it doesn't affect him. He's an improved Ultimate Falcon. Instead of just being unaffected by all card effects, he's unaffected by all activated card effects. Which means everything that's activated just doesn't affect him. That doesn't work. Once per turn, you can equip one monster from either graveyard to this card. This card attack a number of times at each battle phase of the number of equipped cards equipped to it. So basically, after turn 2, with this thing on the board, you're attacking 2 times or more every turn. And your opponent basically has to kaiju it to get rid of it. Like, that's the only way to get rid of it, or beat over it, which is kind of hard to do. Granted, it's saying it's 5k. And yeah. Granted, you don't get attack boost from it. Like Cyber Darkness, but you still get a good chunk of stuff from it. So it's a good new boss monster. This is the new boss monster of the archetype. It's very good. I'm glad they got it. So yeah, granted, this went on way longer than I expected. This was, I thought originally gonna just be like 10 to 15 minutes. No, it's like almost 24. So just goes to show how much I like the deck and how much I wanted to make it. I was really excited when they got this revealed, because I always originally liked Cyber Dragon in the original GX anime, but when Zane went all like edgelord and became Cyber Darkman, I just liked him a lot better because it's kind of like showing who I am. But to anyone who knows Vanguard or Cardfight Vanguard, or if you understand any of that, you know what I mean. There is sorry about the mess. Where the heck that came from? There is a clan in there called Shadow Paladin, which is just basically Cyber Darks, but knights and elves and stuff, which is a counter, a foil to Royal Paladin, which is the same instance here. One's light, one's dark. Same concept. I've always been a more fan of the darker, edgy stuff in things. Like, I've always liked stuff like this, like darker variations of stuff. For example, in Machina, there's a new card coming in, I want to say Burst of Destiny, but it's not that. Is it Burst? I think it is Burst of Destiny. If I'm wrong, I guarantee you'll correct me. In Burst of Destiny, called Machina Ruin Force, which is a corrupted version of Machina Force. And I like it a lot better, not just because of the effect, just the overall art itself. It looks cooler than the original because it's just dope. So yeah, that kind of explains myself. So, alright. I hope you enjoyed this, I'm going to say thorough examination of the structure deck. Just because, well, I went over the whole thing, basically. It's a good, solid deck. It's not anywhere, like, super duper good. It's not going to be like, oh my god, I'm going to win. Well, yeah, technically you could win levels with this, depending on what you're at, your locals. But it's not meta-breaking or anything like that. It's a good deck. Basically, if you can get your combo off to go into Cyber Dark End, you're pretty much guaranteed to sit there with a giant 5K immune card. And it's a good, just, I wouldn't say it's control, but it's a control beatdown variation to where it's controls the board just by having a big beater on the field. It's like Ray Raptor. Once Ultimate Falcon hits the board, you really can't do much else against it. So, this has been the opening of the Cyber Strike structure deck. Trust me, there'll be more to come when the structure decks come out. I'm looking forward to the next one, which is the Utopia one, I do believe, which is awesome. Until then, this has been the Card Man. Keep collecting, my friends, and bye.